Okay, I'll go live on Twitch.
And YouTube, sorry. I'm pissing off my camera.
Okay. Where am I streaming to? It's not showing up on Twitch. Yeah, okay. I think we're live on Twitch.
Give it a second. It has like a little delay.
I think it's gonna start soon. Oh, there we go. Okay. Ta-da! Oh, we're finally on. And then let me update our information. So what's this episode called? Just with Ashley does cosplay?
Becoming a cosplayer.
What is it?
Becoming a cosplayer?
Okay, becoming a cosplayer.
I love how you said it cute the first time.
And I'm like, wait, I didn't understand it. What?
A little more serious.
You're like, wait.
I was like, wait, shift gears.
Become a cosplayer. Do it!
Do it now!
Just
do
do it!
Alrighty. I hope she, yeah, okay. Well,
I just texted her, so we'll see.
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool.
Well, we'll give Ashley some time, but hello Facebook, hello YouTube, hello Twitch, hello everybody. This episode of CosTalk Live, we're just going to talk about how to become a cosplayer. There are some people that I know who are a little nervous about becoming cosplayers, don't know where to start, don't know where to shop, craft, lots of things. So we're just kind of going to cover like the basics, go through stuff.
The basics of becoming a cosplayer.
Becoming a cosplayer. Yay!
So introduce yourself, Sam.
I am Sam of Thermo Cosplay, and today I am casual Makoto Kino, which is Sailor Jupiter.
Yay!
You don't know her name. Basically, I'm rocking the 90s like overall dress and like undertone.
The like washed denim overalls. Yeah, I like it too. I like their like casual style. I'd rock it anytime.
It's kind of come back into come back into style, like some of the 90s stuff.
Yeah. Just
with like washed denim, and like the skirts are like way shorter.
Yeah, that's true. They have to bring all that fashion back. So, hi guys, I'm Jinx Cosplayer. This is Lady Rainicorn, and I'm dressed as a Lolita Princess Bubblegum today. And I've been cosplaying since 2001, and I do video game cosplays mostly. Yay! And Liz.
Hi, I'm Liz of Ambrose Cosplay, and today I'm dressed as me. Because one, it's really, really hot, and two, our guest today actually did my hair earlier, so I felt cute. So I thought it was appropriate to not immediately be like, thanks, Ashley, for doing my hair, and then cover it up with a wig. So.
Why didn't you do color? Don't you usually do like crazy colors during the summer?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really know what to do this summer.
You should have just been like, Ashley, just do whatever you want. I bet she would have had so much fun.
Well, the problem is I didn't give her an answer, so obviously she can't prepare. She can't buy every color of the rainbow. But yeah, I didn't know what to do, so we just stuck with actually getting it cut. This is the first time I've had my hair cut since December.
Oh wow, yeah.
But yeah, she blended it real nice. I think it looks good.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think I need to get my hair cut soon too. Obviously, I haven't been out since. Oh no, I got it cut right before all this COVID stuff happened, so I'm okay for. Yeah. So hi everybody, hi in the internet. How are you guys? Thanks for joining us. If you're on Twitch, we also stream on Facebook under CosTalk Live, and we stream on YouTube under Thermo Cosplay, right? And then we're on Twitch as CosTalk Live as well. So we're so glad to have you guys. And if you're out there, and if you have questions, because obviously we're talking about becoming a cosplayer, feel free to ask any question, and we'll answer it to the best of our ability.
Yeah, this is a free session, so whatever your focus is, please go for it.
Yeah. So, Sam, talk about how you started cosplay.
So I actually started at Comic-Con as an artist, and I was selling my comic book. And I had like 150 copies, and I sold out of them in 2 days. So
Your comic book?
Yeah.
I didn't know you wrote a comic book.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to see it.
Why not?
It's so old. Like, okay, maybe I'll think about it.
Oh man,
I can draw a lot better now.
So old.
But I sold out of my comic book within the first 2 days, and I had over 100 shirts, and I was almost completely out of my inventory of everything within 3 days, and I was like at the first time at a con. So the last day was just like talking to people at my booth, wandering around, you know, just kind of, well, I've sold out of basically everything. I didn't expect that to happen. So I ran into people in costumes, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, seriously, what are you doing? And 2 years later, I was doing what they were doing. So my very first costume was my original concept of like a demon hunter from Diablo 3. And the very first costume the very first costume I wore, I won an award in at a fashion show that wasn't supposed to be judged, but Easley's was a costume shop in Arizona. And they had sponsored it, and they gave me like a $500 certificate and an award. They're like, this is so cool. And I'm like, I'm hooked.
$500? Wow, that sounds nice.
Please.
Oh, yeah, I know. I miss physical costume stores. I know that they're obsolete, but I miss it, like, just going in and looking at things. And, oh, they're so much fun. It's a shame that Easley's closed down.
Well, there's a couple, like, dance/costume places, so... You can. Oh, look, there's actually, hang on a second, guys. I'm bringing her in.
It's not quite the same. I don't know. But it's still good.
Oh my gosh, it's Princess Tiana, you guys.
Hi,
I feel like I should have like a plate of beignets that I can like
Share.
Why don't you, right?
But it
Where are
like
your
it would be
beignets?
kind of rude without having enough for everybody. So
That's true.
That's true. That's fair. So why don't you introduce yourself since we just welcomed you in?
oh hello. Well, I'm Ashley Does Cosplay, and I do a lot of Disney stuff. I guess I do some like superhero stuff sometimes, not as often as the Disney stuff, but you know, here and there. And I have been cosplaying for about 6 years now. I think, yeah, 6 years. And so far it's gone pretty well. I mostly go to Arizona cons and a few California, but I don't like travel a whole lot for it. I was hoping this would be the year to do that. But since the world is aflame, I guess it'll be next year.
We'll travel together. I'll be your buddy. I'll be your travel buddy.
2021 is going to be the year of everything's coming up. Ashley Does Cosplay.
That's right.
I hope so.
2021 is
we
going
were
to be
like,
the year. Yes.
Liz and I like kind of talked about going to New York Comic Con this year, and
Oh, this year?
no, nah,
Oh,
I think not.
Like, I think that will not be on the docket. for
It's
this
fine.
year. I have doubt.
Next year though, we're gonna be like, I was gonna say getting our passports, but I guess we don't need passports to go to New York.
If you want one, like, go for it.
You would need your travel ID though, so but they're
Yes.
extending that till next year, so that's okay. Technically,
Oh,
you'd either
yeah.
need. Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us.
You guys all look so lovely.
You do too.
Oh, you look lovely too.
Ah, you're so cute, Ashley. The only reason I look cute is because of you.
That's not true.
It
You know,
is
you have
true.
good genetics. I only did the hair.
She did a great job with the hair, though. I feel cute.
your hair does look really, really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome. So today our topic again is, how we started in cosplay. Liz, I don't think you told your story yet. How you started in cosplay?
My start to cosplay is weird. I'm serious. It is. I didn't start by like going to a convention or anything like that. I used to live up in Flagstaff, and I started
really?
by learning how to. Yeah, I was learning how to. Well, I didn't have a sewing machine at that point, so I was hand sewing like hats because it gets cold in Flagstaff. And so I would look up a lot of tutorials on like different like cute little like nerdy hats. Like I remember one of the ones I made was like toothless, like the dragon, like a little toothless hat. And the person who did the hat tutorials was a cosplayer, and so I like saw on their
Who
DVD
is it?
art talking about Sam was talking about old. earlier, on their DeviantArt, that's like a blast from the past. They had pictures of like their cosplays, and they made cosplays, and so that was what kind of got me interested in it. And I decided I kind of wanted to give it a try for myself. So I did order like the cheapest sewing machine off of Amazon that I could, and started teaching myself how to sew. And my first couple of costumes, I think I made like one in like 2011, and I didn't make another one until like 2013, and they're both just like hot messes. But like, it's like a fond memory, you know? I remember like when I didn't know anything about anything.
And now you're like best in show.
I don't know, like it's kind of it's fun to like look back and be like, oh my gosh, I've gotten so much better, thank God.
Who was the
start into cosplay? I don't think I went to a con until 2016. I think my first con was Phoenix Comic Con, as it was known then. But yeah, I didn't start by doing cons. I just started by learning how to sew, and I'm still learning how to sew like a lot every single day.
We all still learn every day.
That's my story.
Who was the cosplayer that you had the tutorial from?
I don't remember. Oh my gosh, I should try and find who it was. Because
That's
they
cool.
were like my original inspiration.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you telling us the person who you owe everything to? You don't even know who it is.
I don't remember who it is. I'm sorry.
Oh,
No, that's fair. That's a long time ago, and I feel like I probably would forget the same thing. But I think I remember. I like remember the first time I met you. You were dressed as Belle, and I think it was Matthew who was a rose, or Tim maybe. That was like a rose.
It was Tim.
It was Tim. Okay.
The Enchanted Rose.
And I remember I didn't know you at the time, but I was just like, oh my God, the rose! Like, in the strategically placed petal.
Yes.
That I'll always remember. And now I'm like, oh my God, I remember that. And now we're like buddies.
That's
So
awesome. Yeah.
I think if I hadn't like had the pictures though to like look back on, I definitely would not like remember that was you. Like I would not like put the face to it.
My eyebrows were a completely different shape back then. Like I was unrecognizable, basically.
That's what I say about my early 20s. My eyebrows were like missing. Now they're all
Jessica,
different.
you guys
Eyebrows are
started
ever
cosplay
evolving.
like way back in like the Stone Age of cosplay.
I did. I'm so old. I'm like 60. I got that Asian genes. No, I was kidding. No, I started when so I was 17 in 2001. Wait. Yeah, I was 17 in 2001, and actually my family is just a bunch of geeks. My brothers are a lot older than me, so they would go to San Diego Comic-Con. And so I went to Comic-Con the first time in 1996, but I didn't cosplay then. But I saw like I know that they were booth babes, they weren't cosplayers, but I saw a girl at a booth, and she was dressed cool, and her name was Jinx. I was like, okay, cool, that's my name. So that's where I got my name. But then, of course, I saw a couple other people, not many. I'd say like 2% of attendees were cosplaying, and then even then, like there was not that as many people there. So my mom sewed, always made our costumes and stuff. So I don't know what initially made me be like, I want to cosplay, but I knew that I wanted to do that. I wanted to dress up. So my mom helped me with my first cosplay. It was Rhinoa from Final Fantasy VII. I've been playing Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII, and I wore it to San Diego Comic-Con 2001. So yeah. And before we keep going on, we have a couple of comments. So Hannah says, oh, Easley's. We missed Easley's. Catherine says, oh, I love the Rose and Belle. Hi, Kat. And then from Twitch, we have Shane Chandler says, hi, Ashley.
Ooh, hi.
Fun.
Thanks for watching,
I'm
guys.
so happy.
So,
Like,
Sam,
I think I know all those people.
yeah, they're so supportive. You guys are so awesome to show up all the time. Thank you so much. We love you guys. Yeah. All right. So, Sam, do you want to kind of start with like steps to get started?
Yeah. So, I just want to like ask Ashley, what inspired you to start costuming? Like, why did you start dressing up?
Well, when I was in high school, actually, when I was a little kid, my mom like taught me how to do like basic hand sewing, like a basic stitch, and I used to like make clothes for my dolls. But when I got to high school, I eventually got more into like the fashion side of things. I definitely was more interested in like being a fashion designer. And I remember like vividly, I love That So Raven on Disney Channel. And, like, she wanted to be a fashion designer, so I was like, that's what I want to do too. And then like, I think, like when I went to school, I was at school back in Indiana, and there was a girl that was like, I want to be a fashion designer. And I was like, me too, let's do that. And I basically piggybacked and lost interest in like the fashion design, but like morphed into being more of a dramatic kind of thing. And I was like, well, how about I be like into costuming? And eventually it just kind of turned into this, where now I like make my costumes. I remember my first couple costumes were things that I just like pieced together from like thrift stores. I think I was the Joker first, and it was bad. But looking back on it, everybody starts somewhere. It's one of those things where you are definitely more critical of yourself. I think other people at the time were like, that's so cool. And like, like I said, everybody has to start at a certain place, and it's probably going to be bad compared to where you are now. But I'm definitely like happy that I did it, because now look at us. Ooh, it's come very full circle, I think.
We're like BFFs. And I met Ashley at Tempe Lib Con 2017. She was Ursula in her really awesome Ursula costume. Yeah. And you look so great. I love that.
I gotta find this. I gotta get this Ursula costume.
I think I'm gonna. I may or may not have like trashed it recently, but only because I'm gonna remake it. I'm remaking a lot of my costumes with all this free time that I have. I'm like, it's not like no cons are happening, so I might as well like recraft and rework some things that I'm probably otherwise.
Yeah, for sure.
Show it.
That's
Why
awesome.
is this not sharing my screen? Share my screen, computer. I'm sorry,
If I gave people what they wanted, I would be Skeletor all the time.
I really love that. And the skirt lights up too. You remember, Ashley loves light up costumes.
That is definitely my thing. I love lights.
Hair is like my favorite.
Yeah. And I love this whole like the half net on the corset. It's really creative.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Thank you. I think something that, as far as like lights go, I'd like to learn how to do. Have you seen how people do like the props that have like the lights that like change inside there? I feel like there's a certain amount of like computer knowledge that you have to do that.
You need to watch.
I haven't done it.
You need to watch our last episode. It was all about electronics, and there was a lot of great information. Air Bubbles was amazing. So yeah, take a look at that, because I was like, talk to me like I'm a 2-year-old. Like, what is this? And what is that? And how do I do that? So it's really good. She's really awesome. And kind of shows what she does. And then she showed this like what was it, like a program or a board? I'm like, huh?
Yeah, it's an Adafruit board. So you can get pre-programmed to do certain colors, or you can get unencoded, and you can collect the code from a forum and modify it to show the colors that you want.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm just like whoosh, right over my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you.
Well, we'll just get together because Sam is a code nerd. So.
Oh,
yes, that I did know.
See, my husband is too. He programmed the lights that are gonna be for Tafiti to do a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And that's like way over my head. Like I just said, like I want it to like beat like a heart, and he's like, say no more, and just
it's like got it. That's awesome. That is so awesome. But it's easier for people these days to start in cosplay, and it's funny actually that you say you started in fashion design, because cosplay wasn't really as popular. When did you start? 6 years ago?
Yeah, about.
Yeah, cosplay was kind of a thing, but not as like popular as it is now. Like people, the average person knows cosplay. My doctor knows cosplay. He's like, you cosplay? Like, yeah. So it's a lot more acceptable these days, and it's easier too. I mean, God, we've got easy cosplay.
There are so many resources out now to get into it that I wouldn't even have imagined 6 years ago.
Exactly. If that was just 6 years ago, and so much has changed in 6 years. And also there's a lot of knowledge being shared, because I feel like one of the number one things that is good in the cosplay community is the knowledge, because you can't get textbooks and read about how to cosplay. I mean, I guess you can now. Now there's books on cosplay, but you know what I mean? Everyone learns from somewhere. So it's really good that you can learn from other cosplayers too. So
Michael, my husband, was telling me about this author this one cosplayer that did a book all about like foam smithing.
Oh, is
What was
that
her name?
Svetlana?
Oh.
Kamui
You know who
cosplay?
that is?
Punished Props. It's gotta be my homie Punished Props.
Never mind, Michael's not paying
Or
attention.
it's Evil Ted.
Yeah, I think
It's
it's
either
Kamui.
Evil Ted or it's Bill Duran from Punished Props. Or it
She
could
said
be
it was a-
Kamui. But
it was a woman.
foam smithing, I believe that term was coined in the Punished Props community. I could be wrong, but that's the first time I heard it.
Can you show him the book again, Liz?
This book, this one right here.
This lady, great old Kamui. Ah, look, special guest.
I know, it's Michael. Is that the book?
Is this the book?
Yeah, it's Kamui.
Okay, so Kamui.
Sorry, he can't hear you. I have on earphones, so he's just
Oh.
like.
He's like, what are they saying?
He's just like smile and wave.
What?
Just
Huh?
Smile and
Yeah.
wave, boys.
Kamui does a lot of awesome stuff. I mean, she was doing tons of videos before she managed to get her books published, and they're beautiful. I have a couple of her books too.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
so awesome.
They're nice.
Yeah,
They're
I-
like
I-
really nice.
I want more cosplayers to make books and stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
everyone can
books
make a
are
video.
good.
Yeah, because Yaya Han's coming out with a book. Hers is I think a history of cosplay coming out in the fall. But I just want to see more cosplay books. I don't even read books, but I think it's cool to be in a book. Like, it's cool to have a book, right?
Yeah,
Will be
no, it
published?
is. You're
Oh, yeah.
definitely right to feel that way.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh,
I don't know a whole lot about like the process of getting a book published, but it seems like it can be quite an ordeal. So anybody that gets like ahead and gets like all the way to the point where it's like out there is really impressive.
right? You can publish books yourself, but that costs a lot of money. So I guess if you're just really like passionate about it and it's all your money, like, yeah.
There is a
It's
cheap way to
fun.
do it. You just have to know copyright law and you have to be friendly with technology.
Yeah.
Well, we just
Ebooks,
talked about
man.
how unfriendly we
Ebooks.
are with
Yeah.
Technology is
friendly.
unfriendly with me.
Yeah, we're not so good at that.
technology. All right. Anyways, sorry. All right. Okay, I'm just grabbing my little thingy here. Okay, so you kind of briefly touched on like how long you've been cosplaying. What was your first costume, and like what challenges did you have to overcome?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're a guest, actually.
You're our guest.
I'm like, are you guys gonna answer her? She's still talking to you.
Oh my god.
So, like I said, my first cosplay was the Joker, and I think it was my first time going to Phoenix Comic Con, so it had to have been like 2014, I want to say. And I kind of like my friend of mine and I were just like, oh, we're gonna go. It'll be so much fun. We should dress up because like, why even bother going if we're not going? Which is not a way to think about cons. Definitely don't feel like you have to dress up.
That's how I think, though.
I definitely think that way.
I
Like,
have that mindset too, but
I
I feel
have-
like I don't know. There are some days where I'm like, screw it, and I just
Yeah, oh, for sure.
wear nothing.
Well, nothing. Liz, what kind of convention you going to? Nothing. Sorry.
But yeah, I definitely feel like I have to emphasize that with like the normies that I know that you don't have to, because like people get intimidated by the idea of like, oh well, like I want to go and I want to like see things and meet people and have the fun times, but I don't know anything about costuming. I don't know anything about like painting or building or sewing, and I'm like, don't feel like you have to do that. Like, don't feel like it's like a pressure thing, because there are like pretty much just as many people not dressed up as there are people that are dressed up. It just so happens that the people that are dressed up get like the media
Attention.
focus. So
Yeah.
it like kind of leads to the idea that there aren't that many, but it's a thing to not dress up. But yeah, so that was kind of how I got into it, just like on a whim, was like, oh, that sounds like fun. I think that, I don't know if it was the same year, but I also did a Storm, like from X-Men, and that was just a bodysuit that I randomly found at a rando store, and I made like a cape out of a tablecloth.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
And I got a wig, like I snatched one of my mom's wigs and used the like spray paint, you know, the hair spray paint.
Yeah.
I used some of that.
I use that
all over
actually
the
a lot.
I use it too still.
On this wig though, it was a terrible idea because I didn't realize it, because it's hot when they have Phoenix Comic Con, and I didn't realize it at the time.
It'll just sweat
But
off.
it wasn't until I got home that like my whole face was like silver. Like I looked like the Silver Surfer. And like I thought, and like in the pictures, I was like, ooh, I look so good, like catching the wind, like letting it blow through my cape, and was like, ooh, yeah, like flipping my hair, and like definitely like had silver all over me. So 10 out of 10 would not recommend.
You were ahead of your time.
Yeah, it was like a new fashion style, a new
Like,
style.
ooh, she glowing.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
But yeah, so that's kind of what got me into it. I feel like I've only evolved since then, which is a good thing.
As any artist does, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like it's one of those things that it's easy to feel like if you don't get it right the first time, you kind of just don't want to do it. But if I gave up doing it after that first time and didn't like how it turned out, I wouldn't have done all the things we've done since then. Me and Liz competed at WonderCon and
And me too.
I know, Jessica.
Jess,
Liz.
No, Jess.
That was like the first time I really met you guys too. So
yeah,
cool.
like we've never
really
competed
cool.
before together, and that was a really fun time. And all the other things we've done other than that. So I feel like it's definitely like a stick with it thing. Like don't try it once and then be like, eh. I mean, of course, if it's not for you, it's not for you. But like, don't feel like you can't do it just because it doesn't turn out exactly how it was in your head.
Right? Because like so. No, go ahead, Liz.
Oh, there definitely is. I think there is, like in any community. Oh my gosh, so cute. I think that there are those people who are gonna gatekeep, but I feel that in the cosplay community, they're not the majority. And by which I mean, people who will be like, oh, like this cosplayer does whoever the best, like yours isn't very good, whatever. And it's like, who cares? Like, if you're having fun, it doesn't matter if you made it. It doesn't matter if it was thrifted. Like, who cares? Just do it if you want to do it.
In that same vein, if you ever see someone at a con, if you are a cosplayer or you're not a cosplayer, if you ever see someone at a con and you decide to go up to them and be like, oh, I saw like another person do such and such character, and I feel like yours is like way better. Like, that's not a compliment.
It's not.
Like, what did that do for you? Why did that make you feel good to say? Like, I don't say thank you to that, because it's like, I mean, I'm sure they put a lot of work into theirs. Like,
Yep.
Like, you can also just like this character enough to be like, oh, like, someone else did it too, and like, you both look really cool. Perfect. Ended there. That's
it's not as bad as it used to be. It's getting a lot better.
Yeah,
so.
I feel like it's not as common, but definitely happens. So, just a PSA, yeah.
PSA, put down culture, not okay.
But see, when I think about so I've encountered questions of like why do I start cosplayer? How do I start cosplayer? Or people will start it for, I don't want to say the wrong reasons, but probably not the ideal reason. Like, oh, I want to be popular, So I think when you start cosplay, it's not just like, it's a very intensive hobby. Obviously, we know, it's not just creating something; it's putting yourself out there. So it's a lot of both. There's not really many hobbies that do that, where you actually create something and then you parade it around, and then you get judged, So a lot of times it's just you that gets judged, not your costume. You know what I mean? So it's difficult. So I can understand when you say, Ashley, that it might be easy to just quit because, yeah, it is. It can be tough on your self-esteem. It can be tough on a lot of things. But I think as long as you are cosplaying for the right reasons, and when I mean right reasons, I mean like something that benefits you.
Yeah, do it for yourself. Don't ever do it for other people.
I feel like there has to be something that you find fun about it. Otherwise, like, why bother? Like, whether it's the making it or the wearing it or the competing in it or just like, I don't know, maybe you like shopping and buying costumes, I don't know, but there has to be something that you find fun about the process somewhere. Otherwise it's like, why bother doing that particular hobby? Well, and I see a lot of people online be like, oh, I don't get enough attention, or oh, I don't get enough comments, and if that means you're doing it for someone else. You're trying to please other people. So I mean, if you're gonna get discouraged in that aspect, then maybe you need to rethink your hobby, But if you're doing it for because I like to create, I like to like Liz said, I like to act. I was from theater. I did theater and pageants, so that's kind of where my interest stemmed from. So if you have kind of things like that, then I think that you should cosplay. Even if you feel down about yourself that it doesn't look good enough, you're doing it for yourself. All you have to do is be better than the last you. Mm-hmm. You're just competing with yourself. That's all you have to do. So yeah, that's my PSA. I agree.
Yeah.
Snaps for Jessica.
Yay! Oh, and Shane Chandler says, the best group. We did have the best group at WonderCon. No, we didn't. I'm just no. We had a very fun group. We had the fun. We had the funniest group.
We had the most humorous group.
We did.
There's a trophy that says it.
We were the most humorous group, and we had a lot of fun, so that was important too.
Oh, look at that! The image that shook the world.
I love this picture.
What was the max that got? I saw people non-cosplayers on my Facebook sharing that.
We're like saying like, oh my god! Like I would have rando people that would be like, my aunt's cousin sister like posted this. Is that you? And I'm like, it is me.
That's hilarious.
But as far as I know, the like max amount of like, I guess shares it got, like on my cosplay page, it got around 12,000 likes.
Whoa.
Which is, I guess, kind of not a lot, but
that's a lot, girl.
No, I'm sorry, 1,200. I can't read.
I mean, that's still a lot. That's still a lot. But 12,000, I was like. But
it got around like 12,000 shares, which was, I thought, very exciting. So last year, that was like my personal viral sensation.
That's awesome. And that's like a bonus of cosplay, isn't it? Like that shouldn't be your goal to be viral, but it's a bonus.
No, definitely a bonus. Like my ego was boosted in 2019, which is great because it's carrying me through this year.
As it should be. Like honestly.
I know. I feel like I'm still living through last year's cosplays. I'm like, oh my god, the last cosplay I did was in January with Sam.
Kikori.
I keep saying that. Kikori was so small.
March.
Yes, Kikori, I'm sorry.
Well, kind of March. No, it was like on the cusp of February, March. It was like right there.
Yeah, and I didn't make anything new for it, so I guess the last new thing I made and more was in January.
Yeah.
Last time I cosplayed was for Superhero Saturday in January, and it was Tiana, so nothing new.
Well, you need to come here and you need to cosplay more, and we'll just share you.
I feel like that is something good to note, though. Like, I think that you kind of, once you start cosplay, I think it's really easy to kind of get sucked into the, like, you have to be pumping out new costumes all the time sort of thing, and you really don't. Like,
you don't know.
If it's taking a toll on your mental health and stressing you out, you really do not need to be pumping out a new costume every couple of weeks. Like, some people can do that, sure. I am not one of them, like, at all.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely spend a lot of time on the ones that I make. So, like, it's something that you kind of have to make your peace with and, like, be okay with, like, not letting other people's pace pressure you into thinking, like, oh my gosh, I haven't had a new costume in so long. It's like, just, do the characters that you want to do on your timeline.
Yeah, and actually that's a good point, because, Sam?
No, I'm just pointing at the camera.
Oh. Pointing at the audience, you. But that's a good point. As well as with any social media, I mean, you can get like really jaded, or you can get really like lost in other people's feeds, right? Like, oh, look at so and so is traveling again, and the same with cosplayers, because some people have more time, more skill, more money, more motivation, and there's always going to be that someone that has more, and don't ever try and keep up with that person. Because you never will. They're going to keep going like this, and you're just going to be going at the same speed. So, don't let that deter you either. It has deterred me. I'm sure it's deterred all of us at some point. And you have to just overcome it. If you love the hobby, then you'll realize that it's not about what that cosplayer is doing or what that cosplayer is doing. It's about what I can do, and that's what's important. So that can be really hard for new cosplayers, for sure.
So that kind of brings us into, like, overcoming like our challenges as a cosplayer, because to be a cosplayer, it kind of means to be creative. It means to be criticized. It means you're going to be in the public eye. It means you could be a number of things. You could be bullied, harassed, trolled, or you could be thrust in the limelight that you're not prepared for. So there's popularity, and then there's also trolling, and so there's a lot of things involved. There's also, like you said, your self-doubt and your own scope and goals. So you need to set boundaries for yourself, cosplay versus your life.
Absolutely.
It definitely is easy to, like, let it take over everything.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh, yeah.
You have to, like,
sure.
Like you said, set up some boundaries, and, like, for example, I feel like I'll get really, like, into working on whatever project, or when it comes down to like con crunch. You know, I think we all know that feeling of like, oh, gee, the con is like, you know, in 2 days and I still have like XYZ to do. And I have to stay up and pull like 3 all-nighters to get it done.
3 all-nighters in 2 days? Wow. That's impressive, Ashley.
I mean,
she rolls back time. She's got a time turner.
Like, don't let it get the best of you.
I would definitely do the con crunch thing, but I'm getting old now. I can't do all-nighters anymore. And so, like, my new thing, well, obviously this year, it hasn't been a problem yet. But, my new thing is if the costume that I'm planning for the con, like, in my lineup, like, I really want to do this, is not done a week before that con starts, it's not coming to the con. Like, it's not. I gotta pick something else.
That's
my new like goal with like no more con crunch, not doing that anymore. Well, because I think something that's always happened for me with a con crunch is that, you know, let's say costume's like 80% done, it's going great, I love it, and oh shoot, I have 2 days to pull 3 all-nighters to finish it, this is not good, and then I end up like slapping it together and finishing it and then hating the whole thing. And so I was like, okay, this is not like a healthy way to relate to a hobby that's supposed to be fun. So like, I'm like done with that, not doing that anymore.
And I know some cosplayers are like rallying to stop the promotion of con crunch. I know we talk about it, but that's like I read somewhere this cosplayer was saying that like she works in a library, so the young cosplayers would come in and like brag about con crunch. Like no, it's a bad habit. Like do not start with this bad habit. So definitely con crunch is so detrimental to your cosplay health.
I know some people actually live in that stress and they like thrive on it, but I'm not one of them.
I kind of am. Yeah, I kind of am. I work better under pressure, but it's not good. It's never good. So I also want to get out of that habit.
I definitely feel like since we have had no cons going on, I have had no pressure on me to work on anything, and so nothing has been finished.
No, girl, I'm the same.
Yeah, same.
That's one thing where like I've gone a month without posting any like tutorials for my sponsor or Instructables. I'm getting harassed by Instructables. I'm like, okay, all right. I have to make stuff this weekend anyways. Chill. I'll send you a tutorial. And now I'm a part of like a contest too. That's another thing. Like, since there aren't any cons, I'm joining contests because I'm like, well, I kind of want to create stuff, and so I got some material that I got to try out. It's brand new, and I'm like, all right, here we go. This will motivate me. So, like, there are ways to motivate yourself, but also, if you need this downtime, take it. Take the downtime.
Definitely.
Here.
And so when we talk about, like, negative remarks and stuff, like Sam was saying, you're exposing yourself.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that's what it is. Whether or not you want to be exposed, I mean, you can wear your costume and wear it at home, but, you know, everyone knows once you step out the door, it's all public domain. You know, it's like... And that's not to say that people out there that are trolling and bullying are okay, because they're not. But you're never gonna be able to stop it, like just you. And so when it happens to you, you have to learn how to deal with it. And it should never make you stop cosplaying if you love it, and if you're stopping because of the bullying, like it's totally understandable. But you know, if you love it, then you should keep doing it because that's what makes you happy. And they're going to be out there. Someone's going to say something stupid, and whether they mean it or not, or they're trolls, or they're hiding behind their keyboard, that's all they are, you know. It's just a stranger's opinion. Like, you didn't cosplay for this stranger, so why should you care about what they think about it, you know? I mean, if they love it, that's great. I mean, if they hate it, it's like, okay, so don't look at it, you know? But a lot of people will be really adamant about it. And there are people out there that are evil, and their job in life, I guess, is to, you know, belittle people and make them feel like crap. And it's tough. It's almost like you have to kind of get in like a Zen mode when you cosplay and just shut everything out and, you know, and let yourself just enjoy it. So.
Well, and I have a thing on my if you have pages like Instagram and other things like that, you can turn off comments, you can block people, you can set filters, so if they say certain words, it automatically hides the comment until you moderate it. So there's a lot of tips and tricks to also prevent this negativity from, you know, interrupting your life.
Absolutely. Oh, we got some people here in the comments. Oh, Hannah says she hasn't made a new cosplay since Darcy's been born. I mean, that's the complete legitimate reason.
I mean,
Yeah,
You've got the cutest baby in the world.
So.
Baby.
Yeah, and Dara Gonzalez says, hello, beautiful ladies. I hope I said your name right. Hello, thank you for joining us. And Matthew Bento says, these faces I love and miss you guys. I miss all of our cosplay.
Matthew.
Even if we were just like ships passing the night, I miss even that. Like just seeing people, seeing their friends out in their cosplays. Yeah, we miss you guys. Thank you for tuning in again.
My memory is that of a goldfish, so if you see me at a con next year, all bets are off, y'all. I'm sorry.
Oh man, it's like you start fresh. Like, wait a minute.
Like it'll be a clean slate. Just walk up and introduce yourself because I'm not gonna remember. I remember like these 3 people.
Even no, because remember we talked about this where Liz didn't recognize Sam one time because Sam was in.
Oh my god, it was one time.
I bring it up every time. I have to bring it up every time because it's hilarious.
Leave the door unlocked.
What were you wearing?
Sam is a chameleon, okay?
She is.
I cannot be blamed for my poor depth perception and Sam's amazing cosplaying skills, alright? This is not on me.
I don't blame any of you if you don't recognize me. She's not kidding when I say I'm a chameleon. Like, I know people that in my day-to-day life, I have just like my normal stuff and they're like, I recognize your voice, why?
Yeah. You can put any color wig on her head and it's like, okay, like,
She looks amazing, with that hair? Of course.
Yeah.
I told you guys before, it's called being pale as the moon. You just need to apparently be as pale as a constellation and you're good.
Every color goes with white, so.
Yeah, and then you've got this kind of like the face, you can like blend it to any character. Like you just, you just look like every character in the world. So, but yeah, you're just too good.
Well, we're not talking about me, okay, guys? Gosh, we get awkward.
Let's talk about
anyways. So I wanted to kind of go to talking since
we're Sam thing.
Yeah, your favorite Sam cosplay. Which one? Go.
Since we're talking about like missing people and positive experiences, I kind of wanted to cover like Ashley, we'll start with you because you're awesome and you're our guest. What is your like most memorable convention moment? Like what like lifted your heart and just was like, yes, I want another one of these.
Okay.
There's too many.
My friend Sabathia, who I've been friends with now for like.
All, this story didn't start with my friend Liz. So.
My friend Liz.
I don't know.
Wrong story.
I already told a Liz story. My friend Sabathia, she friended me on Facebook really, really randomly. I don't think we had ever met, and she was just like, I'm a fan of cosplay, blah blah blah, and I was like, all right, cool, like, and I love you, random citizen. So didn't really think much of it. But then eventually, like, I met her at Phoenix Comic Con when I was dressed as Ursula, and she was like, oh my god, I'm this person. And like for once in my life, I knew exactly who it was. And I was like, I know you, like, because we would talk on Facebook, because that's not always the case. So I was just like, for once, I actually know who it is. And like, I was really happy. And we had like a hug it out moment. And then we became really good friends after that. But I always liked those times because she wasn't in cosplay at the time. I feel like it's really easy to spot your people, when people are in cosplay, because it's like, you're in the fandom I'm in. Like, clearly we got something like a friendship can build on. And that was just like a really random time that like blossomed into like an actual friendship and not just like a con friendship, which are real friendships too, but a little more fleeting, I find. Like, it's just harder to maintain those because you only see that person, maybe once or twice a year at con.
Yeah,
so,
you also don't know where they're located. Some of them are from out of state. Some of them are from like
exactly
Tucson to Phoenix. That's a big difference. So
exactly. Yeah. So I feel like those moments are always really sweet. And then other than that, though, I like competing quite a bit. Like competing at Tucson was really, really fun in 2018.
I'm gonna find it. I will. I swear I'll find it.
But
that was your first contest, wasn't it?
That was my first contest.
Yes.
Is
And
this one right?
Runner up. Yes,
that's the one.
But
so pretty.
That was super duper fun. The At the time, it was not a good memory because they played the wrong music and I had a
Oh.
meltdown. It was an
They played the
emotional
wrong
roller
music
coaster.
twice,
They
didn't
played it twice. They were like, "Oh, we'll get the right one for you," and then they played
no.
another wrong song.
They lied.
But it worked out. I was really happy with how the costume turned out, and it wasn't very stressful to make because it was one that was like really close to me and something like the character, that version of Cinderella was something that I always grew up knowing. It was definitely one of those things where like I see myself in this person, and I feel like I don't want to like throw out my black card, but that is like kind of a black thing where before there was like a Princess Tiana, that was where I saw myself, and that's where I was reflected in like a like magical role. So that one
That's
meant
one
a
of
lot
my
to me.
favorite costumes of yours.
Thank
It is
you.
beautiful.
I love
Thank
You
you.
do ball gowns so well. Like that's your thing, I think.
It's definitely my thing because I cannot make pants or sleeves. So yeah, you know my weakness.
I think once you learn it, you'll be like, "Whoa, this was easy." That's how I was with pockets. I was like, "Oh, I can't do a pocket and a buttonhole."
I've recently learned pockets.
Yeah, and they're easier than they look, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the pockets were easier than I thought. But yeah, that would probably be my like standout, like those 2 times. The WonderCon was fun too, but like the competing in general is fun. This is gonna sound really big headed, and I don't mean it to at all. But I haven't competed in a competition where I've lost yet, but I've only competed twice. So that being said, I feel like I might have a different opinion if I ever compete again, and I like don't come out with something. You should never compete for that reason. Never like go in expecting to win. That's not a good way to go into anything. And I think that the thing that made it fun for me was that I got to do it with my friends.
Well, and also, a lot of people don't realize with competing, if you win one novice, you don't have to go to intermediate. Like, win 2 or 3 additional awards in that novice level before you level up, because every con's different.
That's a lie. I actually did have competed in one that I didn't win anything. I competed at LA Comic-Con, and I still had a really, really fun time.
Dude, I heard so many people talked about you, though. They were like, that girl was awesome, and she should have got something. I was like, yeah!
But yeah, that one was really fun. Like you said, I think that it's definitely a smart thing to like compete and like your like lower levels like a couple times before you like level up, because I think I might have done a little bit better if I had like not gone like straight for like the kill. So
I do think you need to have like that kind of self-awareness of where is your skill level. It's good to have like, don't move up before you're not comfortable, but on the flip side of that, don't go into the lower categories when you're really, really good because you're gonna crush everybody. Like, I feel like that never works.
Yeah, no, that's not cool.
Well, yeah, it's really energy can cool to do. We've definitely seen that happen a few times before, where people like enter in novice or in intermediate even, and you're like, for real? Like, seriously? With like some huge elaborate costume that's amazing. That's like, well, yeah, like you're gonna win.
And that's when you know you're gonna have a good. But see, if you have good judges, they will immediately lift them up. Because I've done that. Like, I judged Game On Expo, and there were a couple people that I was like, no, they need to up a level. Sorry, not novice.
Like, hopefully you do have good judges who do that, but that's not always what happens, unfortunately. But yeah, I would agree. Like, they should be bumped up.
Yeah. So, okay, I've got other things, and we have plenty of time. Oh my gosh. Okay, so before we let people ask questions too, but what are your favorite like cosplay resources? Like tutorial sites that you purchase things from for wigs, makeup, fabric? Where do you like to go to get things?
Well, me, right?
Yes.
We'll start with you, yeah.
So, I have like taken in the past like couple years to getting a lot of my fabric from thrift stores, and that's something that Prue actually taught me, so I'm very appreciative of that. Productions, in case you guys don't know, but she's a talented cosplayer, and she actually taught me that back when we like used to hang out a lot of the time. We would go to thrift stores, and she would just teach me, hey, you should like look at tablecloths and curtains and sheets, and that's something I've really taken away from. Yeah, and that's something I've really taken away. Of course, so when you do go that route, make sure, like, if you can get king-size sheets, do that. Because that way you have plenty of fabric. Because, of course, it's the kind of fabric that you won't be able to get more of. When it's, like, curtain panels, I try to get, if they have, like, 4 or 6 or however many panels they have, get as many as you can, because if you run out, you're not going to be able to get more. So that's kind of the risk you run with that route, but it can be a lot more budget friendly, because you aren't like running, because Joann's and just other fabric stores, SAS, places like that, it can add up. It can add up and get really costly. Even with coupons, sometimes like they'll put the coupon out and then put everything on sale, so you can't even use a coupon. So things like that are a little bit helpful, and that's where I like to get a lot of my fabric. Of course, if it's a specialized fabric like sparkly tulle or whatever, I'll have to get that at like SAS. But try to like find what you can first. And then other than that, I get a lot of my wigs on Amazon. AliExpress is a good one. But both of those are ones that you definitely want to read the reviews before you like take the plunge and make the buy, because I have been burned many a time. Back when I was like a brand new cosplayer, I was talking to Liz about this the other day, that one of the first things I ever made was a Poison Ivy cosplay. And the wig I wore for that, don't look it up, Sam. I don't like the look in your eye.
Be careful around Sam. Say something and she's like already searching.
But that's one of my first ones, and it was the wig. It wasn't a terrible wig. It was just at a time where I didn't know very much about wigs. A little dry shampoo will help take the shine off, so it's not so like fake looking. It's not so plasticky. A lace front is going to have a more realistic hairline. For certain hairstyles, you are not going to need a lace front wig, but for that particular one, I definitely should have had one. So just something that I would keep a watch out for in the future going forward. But those are some of my things, places I like to get my stuff.
This wig does not look as bad as you said it does. I've seen worse. You rocked it. You rocked it.
I think because of where I am now, it makes me think that this is bad by comparison. But you're your own worst critic, so
it's true.
Yeah, I find Amazon to be really. I mean, Amazon, the quality of wigs have improved so much. And if you're going to use something like once or twice, or a costume you're not going to spend a lot of money on, look into Amazon, and they even have really nice lace front wigs too. And AliExpress, I agree, a lot of the same stuff is on AliExpress, because a lot of those sellers, sell also on AliExpress. It's just that it takes longer, but they are cheaper, as long as you have the time.
I feel like I did not say that Etsy is a really good place for wigs too, especially if you're trying to get something that might already be styled. A lot of times on Etsy, you can support maybe more local and smaller businesses versus Amazon, where sometimes it's small businesses on Amazon too, but you kind of have a little more control over knowing your money is going to someone who might actually need it and who you're supporting their art, So Etsy is a good resource for that and for accessories.
And for fabric
definitely.
too, actually.
And for fabric,
I've ordered a couple Etsy fabrics recently that I was really
when you need really specific fabrics, Etsy's a good place to look for sure. Hannah says welovecolors.com. I haven't used them yet, but I want to. I know you have, Liz. Yeah, they have a wide variety of arm socks, leggings, everything in tons of different colors. Yeah, so they're not. Yeah, they're on the a little bit more expensive side, but they're awesome. You can also find, just colored stockings yourself and make them. But I think theirs is really nice and opaque, right? Mm-hmm. Theirs are pretty opaque.
They use essentially the same fabric that's used in most dance tights. So it's a thicker, heavier weight fabric. You can wash it in a machine wash. Don't dry it. You can. It will survive maybe once or twice and then it's dead. But yeah, it's a lot heavier weight. So it's the denier is usually between 80 and 90, which is its opacity. So it's intense. Yeah.
Well, and the same with Arta wigs is We Love Colors has a designated color key. So if you order a leotard, tights, arm socks in hot pink, they will all be the same shade of hot pink. And furthermore, they've even made a key to match their arm socks to Marin paints. They'll tell you if you get hot pink tights, you need to order these colors of Marin paint in order to paint your skin to match.
Yeah, that's amazing. That is one of the best resources I think I've ever come across.
So super
it's so good. Yeah, absolutely. So just before because we have a little bit of a delay, if you guys have any questions, anything could be about, it doesn't have to be about today's topic, it could be to any of us cosplayers. So type it in the chat while we kind of start to wrap up. let's see. Let's look at some of the comments. Shane says, "Oh my God, Ashley, we need pictures of your Tiana and my Lottie at D23." And he says, "Epic cosplay wigs is amazing for quality." Yeah. Hey, Facebook, we see you there too. Jake. Oh, Jara says, "You rock ball gowns, Ashley."
Oh, thank you, Jara.
And Matthew says, "Ashley and her Cinderella always floors me." It is a really beautiful dress. I've seen it in person. It's beautiful.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
absolutely. And Jara Gonzalez was going to say your wig isn't that bad. It isn't, but you're right. We kind of judge ourselves based on our past experiences and stuff. Hannah says, "I have so many of the same pictures as Ivy at that Phoenix Comic Con." Ah, okay.
Well, I'd like to see them. Slide in my DMs.
So, Ashley, what is your all-time favorite costume?
That I've made myself? Or
It
like
doesn't
in
matter.
Any
general?
costume that you've worn.
But I want,
Yeah.
okay. I had a lot of fun as Calliope at WonderCon last year. Like, that was probably one of the like funnest times I had.
Like, you were in your element. That was like,
yeah,
you
no,
were
that
Calliope.
definitely was like, ooh,
She was Calliope.
This is
Yeah.
me. Who knew?
That was actually one of my favorite cosplay experiences. Was that with you guys?
It was
I think
fun.
I think all my favorite times are with groups, which I'm
I
usually with
agree.
Sam's dragging groups. Yeah, but look at her go!
Oh, look at her.
And that wig is so
Disney
beautiful.
cast
You styled that wig.
Thanks. Yeah, I did style that wig. My Nana gave it to me, and then she was like, "This is too much hair for me. Do you want it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I want it because I got a costume I can wear it with."
It's so
But yeah, so that worked out. That was a lot of hairspray, and those little like swirly bits are like hot glued on. But yeah, that one was really fun. I am glad that I have since learned, like, there are these if you guys have not seen them floating around just like on Amazon, or I've seen ads for them on like Instagram, there are these headbands that are like they have like a Velcro like close on the back, and
wig band?
Yeah, and
Oh,
it's
wig
like
grip?
I think velvety.
They're wig grips. And I'm
Yeah.
wearing one right now
Yeah.
because my head is too small for every single wig I own, even the ones I bought in child size. So, I'm wearing one
You
right
don't
now
have
because
any
it's the only way I keep my wigs on.
But
Hair's
yeah,
too
so
short.
I think
dress thing, isn't it?
Huh?
You usually have Sam usually has like an undercut or something, so she doesn't have like
Yeah.
hair to like grab
Yeah,
on.
there's nothing to grip, right? So, yeah.
But yeah, so I think that like if I were to wear that again, I would I have one now, so I would wear that underneath it, because that thing, like while we were doing photo shoot before the con, like fell off several times. And
For real?
I'm so grateful that like I was able to like get it together before like we performed on stage, and it didn't like
Yeah, how
fall
did-
off.
If it fell off during pictures, how the heck did you keep it on during dancing? You got a grip?
Yeah, I like figured out how to like get the combs to really dig in, and like
Oh, okay.
I used
I
a
was
lot
like,
of
girl,
bobby
you were,
pins.
like- Yeah.
I
feel
if
like
that
you
wig
would've added to the humor though, had it come
if
off.
that wig had fallen off on the stage, I would have jumped off headfirst into like off the stage. Like I would have died on the spot. Just like, nope, I don't want to go on. Goodbye, cruel world.
We still would have gotten most humorous.
Right? Like,
So it's probably wasn't as bad as you think.
but yeah, but yeah, that was probably one of my favorite ones to have been worn. I have like high hopes for the future though. Like Shane brought up D23 for next year, and a costume that I've like been wanting to make so badly is 2015 Cinderella's wedding dress. Like, I want to make that wedding dress so damn bad. I've never seen anyone really. I don't think I've seen another cosplayer make it, and I'm sure now that I've like said it out loud,
Everyone's gonna make it.
it's gonna be like on Instagram as soon as I get off here.
Oh,
But
man.
it's one that I've like wanted to make for years and years, and it was one I wanted to make for D23 last year, but that didn't really work out. So I think that going for like if they have it next year, that'll be like the plan. I love like the flowers, and she has like a glass flower crown, and I'm like, yeah, I like that.
So we have a couple questions here. Michaela, hey Michaela, nice to see you. Says Ashley, when are you gonna start doing dress commissions? She's like, what?
I don't know.
Is that something in your future?
I'm sorry.
Something that might be that you would consider in your future?
I don't know. There's like a whole thing. There's like a whole shebang with commissions that I am like wholly uninterested in. Like, I feel like with commissions, you have to be willing to like put up with a lot of BS. If you guys don't already follow the page on Instagram, Can You Sew This For Me?
You told me
You
about
should.
that one.
Yeah, I tell everybody about it because it's the reason I don't do commissions, because people don't want to pay for them. Like the willpower is there. Like, oh, I want it to look like how it looks when you make it and when you wear it. But I'm like, yeah, but I spent like at least a month on that. And
How much money?
And plus the like, materials. Like no one wants to. They don't want to pay for it. And I'm not gonna like haggle and argue with people about paying for my time and work. So I just feel like it's not worth the headache, But I always do favors once in a while. So, holla at you, girl. I am known to be charitable. I am a kind God.
Awesome. And we have a couple more comments. Jake says, as a medium build tall white guy, I have a surprisingly low number of Prince cosplays. Okay, that needs to change then. Hello. You could probably be every Prince imaginable. Hannah, why don't you get on that?
Right? Are we talking Jake
Hannah
McCormick?
is busy.
That seems like a pretty big oversight.
Yeah,
let Magic and Mischief enjoy their baby.
okay, but then after that, like, do the Prince thing.
After the baby's like gone.
After the baby is an adult, you can return.
You're too old to look like a prince, right? Oh man! And then he also says, "I vote Ashley Martinez for her dream cast." Ah, yeah, I can see that.
Agreed.
Ooh,
I got someone commented on my TikTok that I posted of it and was like, "Are you gonna audition when they do the live action?" And I'm like, if I could sing or act, I would. But so far, I'm only good at looking like this person.
Oh, they say Hannah's.
Just like dub Beyonce's voice over you; it'll be fine.
So Hannah says, Eric and Ariel is a plan, and Darcy is going to be Melody. Oh my god. That's going to be so adorable. That'll be so cute. Hurry up and do it, and we'll put you guys on the show.
I don't know. You could just like do like a gray wig. Jake could probably make a pretty decent Triton.
Oh yeah.
Just saying. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, I think there's any other last questions? We had quite a few today. That was good. What's going on? Do you want to talk about next week, Sam?
Yeah, so next week, it's not our usual. Next week, with the state of the world, I want to talk about how you can be an ally for the Black Lives Matter movement and for our LGBTQ communities, and how you can do it as a cosplayer. It's not as difficult as people think it is. It's just a mindset that you need to break.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do not wear your cosplays.
Don't wear your cosplays to protest. I'm putting that now. That is the. Ugh.
That's not cool, y'all. Like, here's your local friendly Black person to tell you that shit ain't okay. Cease and desist.
That's just taking away from the movement. That is not a good focus. Not a good look either, and that just shows your privilege.
Time 6:30 Pacific.
It's gonna be 6:30 next week. It might be shorter. If there isn't a lot of interaction, but there might be a lot of questions. Yes, I am white, but I'm going to walk you through a journey because I did not grow up in the non-racist family, and they were horrible. And I'm married to a man of color, so I learned a lot of things along the way.
Spicy.
Yeah.
Sorry, y'all. Speaking of being married to a man of color, it is currently Loving Day. And if you don't know what that is, I suggest you do a little bit of research. But it's basically when the Supreme Court ruled that it was okay for like interracial couples to be married.
That's why I can marry my husband.
Yeah, so that's why I can marry my husband. So yay, y'all.
Yay.
So congratulations
otherwise
on being
Ashley
married.
and I would be like on a boat somewhere running away with our husbands. We're like, we're taking them with us.
I would have this country to go marry my white husband. That would have been backwards.
It's okay. It works.
Anyway,
right.
okay.
Did we have any questions?
Guys. So I won't be on the next 2 weeks. I actually have work streams, unfortunately. So come and support Sam, guys. I don't know. Are you gonna have any guests, or maybe you'll announce them later?
No, next week it's just me and whoever else wants to join me in the discussion. Anyone's welcome. Just understand that we're going to talk about existing groups and support, not creating anything new. There's plenty out there, and we don't need to detract from what already exists.
Oh, and before we forget, Ashley, tell us where we can find you on social media.
Well, I am newly on TikTok. Ashley Does Cosplay. Make sure you spell the Ashley correctly, ASCHELEY. Also on Instagram, Ashley Does Cosplay, and I believe I am on Twitter. I think I don't use Twitter very much, so don't expect a lot of update there. But I believe the most recent update might have been in January, so it should be the same name there. And then Ashley Does Cosplay on Facebook. So all these social media is under the same name. You can find me anywhere, or Ashley Martinez. I'll be friends with you guys. Whoever wants to. Don't make it weird.
And just say hi. And Sam?
Thermal cosplay. Pretty much
everywhere. Yeah.
Everywhere. Just